This is a warm up that I was taught by an incredible Pilates teacher. She's also physical therapy, Karen Sanzo. And it helped me get ready not just for a Pilates session, but also for whenever you're gonna go do, say, like a heavy lift session at the gym. So I must give credit to her. And then I just kind of added little things here and there that I really like, or depending on the body that I'm gonna be working with, what do I see that they need that day. Anyway, so the first one's fairly easy. So it's gonna be like our child's pose. And into that child's pose, so we will find wrist right underneath our shoulders. We want to find the weight, like really focusing between our index finger and our thumb, right where they meet our wrist, because that's where we're gonna find most support from our bones. Toes, if it's comfortable to you, don't overthink what you're doing with the feet, but if you can just have the toes on top, that's wonderful. So we can think about a little connection through your shins. You could also even put like a little towel underneath your shins if like your feet cramp up when you fully like extend them. So the first thing we do is to just find shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, and we're trying not to, again, dump any weight literally into our wrist, meaning, or not our wrist, I'm sorry, into our joints, so that we're not hyperextending the elbows. So they're kind of soft, so we can feel this in our muscles. So the first thing I want you to do is find an inhale. And then as we exhale, we're gonna round that spine up towards the ceiling by pushing that floor away. Our neck's gonna follow our spine's doing, so our neck is gonna be gazing into our thighs. From here, I really want you to think of those shins pushing down into the floor. It's gonna feel like a nice release through the low back. And then as we exhale, we begin to shift our hips back. Notice that I'm not just passively dropping my hips to the floor, I'm still pushing with my arms and my shins. And then we're gonna travel or journey our spine back so that our joints are on top of our knees and our wrists. Again, round the spine up. Send the hips back. Press the shins down. Bring it back in. Let's make this more meaningful. So as we round the spine up, I want you to think of sliding your hands to your knees and your knees to your hands. They're not actually gonna move, but you're gonna feel a deep connection through your tummy. So it's what Ms. Sansa calls a flexion connection. It almost makes me shake. I can really feel the activation through my core. And then from here, I could also begin to send those hips back. Really think of dragging those hands to your knees and your knees to your hands, and this now becomes a connection, not just a stretch. And then I could think of pushing my hands away, pressing my shins down so maintaining the roundness in my spine, and feeling a shift in how the release feels in my back. And now I think of pulling my hands to my knees, knees to my hands, and I come back up into that flexion connection. And now I think of pushing away. There's my little release. I'm still not losing the roundness in my spine, and then I pull it back in. When we return back to our flat spine, notice that we're not sinking the ribs to the floor and sinking the tailbone back. That does not feel good. Plus, I just extended my elbows again. So I really want to think of the sternum up towards the ceiling, the ribs connected, pushing that floor away. From here, I should easily be able to go into a plank. That's not what I want to do, but I just want you to feel those connections, and again, keeping those elbows soft. Alrighty, from here, we're connected. We are going to bring some movement into our hips by lifting one foot up, going into our tailbone. You know, I love my doggies. That's why it's Pilates. We just start by externally rotating and internally rotating that thigh bone. Depending on the flexibility in your joints, this could be very small. And if it's very small, I invite you to think of a push as you go outside and a squeeze as you come in. It's gonna make your muscles assist in the movement of the joint. Just makes it be a little bit more work. We're still trying to keep even weight through both wrists. And then when we feel a little bit of movement there, let's add some spinal lateral flexion. We're gonna turn and look into our foot and then bring it around. So right before I begin to twist, my neck has to turn and bring it across. And out and across. And again, watch those elbows. Do not sink into those elbows. Do not sink into your ribs. We come back through center. We go to the other foot. Again, I reset. Check with my spine. Check with my neck. Lift my foot. And I just begin to consciously go into the internal and external rotation. Fight the urge to just dump into one arm. They're both trying to take on the weight. And then we add that lateral flexion. Across and to the side. Just bringing movement into those hips. Finding the center. We will rise up. And then from here, playing with a little bit of balance. I apologize again, my head's gonna come up from the shot. Not that anybody needs to see me grimacing. So first thing, I want to just find my open hips. My feet have got to be actively engaged. My shins are engaged, my glutes are engaged to help me stay up. If your balance is not feeling that great today, you can also bring your hands down and slide one leg forward. If you're feeling up for a little bit of a challenge, think of a connection to inner thighs. They're not passive. Glutes are engaged, tummy's engaged, and this is gonna help us bring one leg forward. I want you to slide that foot fairly forward because we're gonna go into a lunge now. The leg that's back, that hip squares forward, and the leg that's front, that hip goes back. You should already start to feel a little bit of a lengthening through the front of the back leg. And then from here, pubic bone can come forward. And then from here, we just begin to allow that right knee, in my case, to come forward. Notice again, I'm not thrusting my ribs, I'm keeping that little connection there. And then from here, I want you to reach your hands down. If you need to use blocks, absolutely use them. Just reaching them to the floor because I want the front of my quadriceps, my right quad, to work, to think of lengthening so that I can get a stretch through my hamstring. Ooh. And then from here, find the abdominals again. Bring the spine back up, pubic bone forward. Then we drive that knee forward, finding the lunge and the lengthening through the front of the hip. A hinge and a reach of the hands and a lengthening of that leg. One more time. Growing tall through the spine, thighs are connected. Let's find that lunge. A hinge and a lengthening back. From here, you can keep your hands down again. Work with your balance. Make sure that you feel supported while you do this. But you're gonna bring that knee right underneath. Your heel right underneath that knee. From here, your arms will reach in front of you. Your arms will reach up towards the ceiling. If the shoulders are warm, the hands can just come down behind the head. And I'm going to come on down so you can see me a little bit better. I apologize, I don't have the best cinematography skills. So in here, my knee will be bent down. My other knee will be forward. Hands come behind the head. I lengthen the spine. So I'm in a split stance, which really means that I have to talk to my core muscles to bring me in and help me stay up. I lengthen the spine, create push of head into hands and hands into head. You should be able to see your elbows in your peripheral vision. And then we add a bowing of the chest forward. So think if you were laying on the floor, your shoulder blades wouldn't come out from the floor, right? And we lift. So it's a lengthening of the upper thoracic spine, almost like a stretch, but really just feels like little core work. 2 more times. And a lengthen. And last one. And a lengthen. From here, we would add rotation towards the bent knee. So a lift and a rotate. I'm really thinking of the connection with my inner thighs so that I can stay upright. 2 more times. Last one. Bring it in. Arms can come forward, and then you could just bring your hands back down. Oops, that's a little blooper reel. Okay, so then from here, the last thing I want to think of, it's an activation through the glute. So for this, I just want you to, you can have your hands on your sides. We're not rounding forward, we are hinging forward. As we do this, you should feel a stretch through the back leg. Let me switch legs so that you can see what I'm talking about. So we have one leg forward. You could always have a surface around you where you could, you know, have like a little safety spot in case we lose our balance. Okay, so nice and long. Again, I'm not tucking, I'm lengthening my spine, and I'm gonna hinge from my hip, and this should give me a stretch already through that glute. And all I want you to do, you could bring your hands forward. Think of pushing that foot into the floor, heel into the floor, and I feel a big activation and a release. And a press, and I release. And a press, and I release. One more time. What could this work itself into? Eventually, maybe a press and a hover, and a down, and a push, and a down. And a press, and a down, one more time, and a down, and then you will repeat this on the other side. And that already on itself feels like a little bit of a workout, but then your body's fully warmed up and primed to go into whatever you ask for it to do. Thank you.